how's it going? I'm Coco, and this is Rock and Vino, the podcast where we talk about wine and music and how well they go together.
And one of the places that you can find the Rock and Vino podcast is on the Riff Magazine website and Riff Magazine.
riffmagazine.com.
Exactly. It's a great website for all, music news, album reviews, show previews, all kinds of cool stuff on there. And they're getting in the podcast game.
They like us.
Exactly.
They're featuring us.
We haven't been canceled yet. That's to you, Roman. Rock and Vino is on there. You can find Riff Radio, another fun little feature, some interviews with different artists. Lars from Metallica up there this week. It's a good one that you should go listen to.
Kind of a shocker. Like, whoa, what? You got Lars?
Exactly. It's a lot of fun. And we, of course, did some show coverage for Bottle Rock for Riff.
We did.
And I think that, we were talking about this a little bit before we started, that the process of covering a show and reviewing a show is a lot different than one might think.
It's not all glamorous
It really isn't.
And fun backstage antics.
Yeah, so, it's a lot of, hurry up and wait and running around, getting to the right spot. And, once you've seen your show, we're up Northern California, so they're different Bay Area shows, so you got to make the trek home.
Because often shows are in the city
Exactly.
or in Berkeley or in Sacramento.
Venues all over the place.
Yeah.
Get home, you have to remember and go through everything you just saw, to kind of recall everything, what songs they played, what was the stage banter, what was the crowd like. Try and go through all these little details of what you just saw, but it's so easy to lose those in such a short time.
You got to bring your notebook.
Exactly. So my favorite one, we had a little bit of this during Bottle Rock, but also a couple recent shows that go really late, is you get back at like 1 a.m.
Yeah,
and
on a good day.
On a good day, exactly. And you sit down and then you have to write. To be timely, it's got to be up the next morning. Otherwise, everyone's moved on.
Well, yeah, because me, if I didn't go to the show, because I'm sleeping in my bed, my comfy little warm bed, I'm like, hey, how was that show? I'm going to look it up online. So who's doing that? Mike, the Riff team.
My favorite one was one of the recent shows. You get back at 1 o'clock, you start writing. It starts settling in a little bit. Your eyes start going. And I think I fell asleep twice mid-review and woke up and looked at my laptop. And it was just like 3 sentences of complete gibberish words that were actual. It wasn't just.
You weren't drunk. You were just.
It was
tired.
Formed words that just made no sense. I just looked at it and went, "This is not going to work." But luckily, it worked out okay. So I think again, I don't think Roman's going to fire us yet.
Well, that's good. Thank goodness.
Exactly. But yeah, riffmagazine.com, lots of good stuff there. So go check it out. And we have a guest.
We have a guest today. Yes, we have Bryce Dow-Williamson with us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. We
Yeah.
appreciate it. And now, for those of you guys that don't know, Bryce is very involved here in Sonoma County with the music scene, so in wine country here.
Yeah.
So helping to elevate the whole music scene here, which is desperately needed. So thank you.
Yeah, it's definitely ebbed and flowed around here a lot of different times, but it's been great to be able to kind of step into my own more in recent times and help out with some more venues.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the venues that you currently are working with. And
right now, I'm in charge of the marketing for SOMO Concerts. That's a 3,000 person outdoor solar-powered venue in Runner Park, as well as the Mystic Theater in downtown Petaluma. That's 500 person. And then also Cornerstone, that is in Berkeley. That is on the corner of Shattuck and Durant. That's another 500 person and attached to a pub similar to the Mystic.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that one.
Yeah.
You're all over the place.
Trying to work. Yeah.
And also you're involved with the Railroad Square Music Festival.
Yeah.
Is that
I do the marketing for the Railroad Square Music Festival. That is a Sonoma County it was just on. We just had our 4th year, and so it usually happens the second week of June, and it has multiple stages. This last year had 5 stages and about 25 different acts that are all local and regional. Yeah.
And how do you go about like vetting who you want to present on the stage?
Well, I mean, a lot of that is Josh Windmiller, and I get to consult and advise and suggest. I think that a big part of this kind of event, when you don't have as much of like a headliner to base it off of, then it's really about trying to, if it's about the community, then I think it needs to try to, properly showcase the community, So we look at a variety of just different genres and, making sure that it's not just all white guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think that that's what our community is. And so then, it's great to have music this year that was, all over the place, but completely representative of like, if you were to be involved within different demographics or ages or areas within Sonoma County, that these are the bands that you would be seeing one way or another. So
very cool. Yeah, we were talking a bit offline about how last year at the Music Fest I found Eki.
Yeah.
And so she is amazing, and she was playing right before, I think, the downpour, or right in the middle of it. And so my friends and I saw her play and were just amazed, and so we went and saw her again.
Yeah, Eki Shola, she's amazing. She's she calls it chill hop electronica.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. She just got to see her the other night for the Tiny Desk folks that were doing really well with that.
Yeah, Lagunitas. Yeah, that's another great, awesome place in Sonoma County bringing some music. So
yeah, they just had Low Cut Connie right before they played at SOMO Concerts with Social Distortion.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Very cool. So how did the Social D show go?
Went really well. We got about 2,500 people, and it was very. It's always interesting. Just each show, depending on the genre, invites in just a different group of people. But then, oftentimes they're very Sonoma County based, or like a little bit north, a little bit east. And so, I mean, when you have a band like that that's been so influential for so many people, it's just really great to see people like, reliving something, or finally getting to see somebody that they always wanted to. And, the band is just great. Mike Ness is amazing. And so it's just, and we've just really upgraded the venue. So it was really a great way to kind of show this new parts of it.
Yeah.
And for people who don't know what SOMO Villages and SOMO Concert Series, if you explain it to someone who doesn't know, they would say, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But it's sort of, as best you can, kind of describe what the venue is. It's completely unique.
Yeah. Well, we've been going for about 5 years, and I've been involved for, I should know that, 4, I guess. And so it's very interesting because, of course, it's in the midst of a business park. And so within a suburbs that's within, a county that is not very business park or suburb oriented. So it's not really a place where people are like, hey, I'm going to go to Rohnert Park to rock my face off, and so then we really had to kind of create something there that would be worth it for people to go to, and then have them be pleasantly surprised when they turn the corner and are out of the ample parking lots. And
definitely, you guys do have a lot of parking there.
Yeah, which is very important for a venue and very rare in Sonoma County. So there's certain infrastructure like that's set up, but then this year we don't have to have a trailer that unfolds into a transformer stage. It's something permanent now, and then we've had this group Ineffable move in and start doing the booking, so that's not myself and my mentors Morty and Steve and and whoever else that is around that we're working with, like Seva or certain other people who want to put on a benefit or something like that. But yeah, 3,000 person outdoor theater concert space in Rohnert Park. That's a mile south of the Sonoma State College. And we do it during the summer when it's reasonable.
Yeah, I imagine probably more so in the early days of getting bands to come out there.
Yeah.
Sort of the process explain, like wait,
Yeah.
Stay with me on this. It'll be great.
It still is, for sure. But anybody will go anywhere if you pay them.
Exactly.
Fair point.
Yeah. And I mean, it's definitely it's grown, and it was, it's really great to have the redwood grove that's kind of within it to help the aesthetic, and and then have Sally Tomatoes there to be able to do all the bars and that kind of thing.
Which is really nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, and for me, I really wanted to, like, I needed to create a reason for people to be there, or like a comfort, or an interest. And so then that was looking at this kind of pop-up festival idea initially, which we don't have to do as much because now we can attract larger acts and they'll get enough people. But we had having vendors in there, having artists in there, having nonprofits, so that it feels like this, like more than a business park. There's these different people that are around with causes or with wares or with whatever that makes you feel like it's something more than than a stage in the midst of
a business park,
yeah,
of a cement business park. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But they they painted it all up this year, and then they added some really nice wooden aesthetics and stone structures and stuff. So it's perpetually getting better.
We'll have to come check it out.
Yeah, please do.
And your next show is the Rock and Wine Fest.
Yeah, with Y&T and Dawkin, and then a fella from Tesla, Frank Hannon, his band. Yeah.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
And so the lead singer of Y&T, did you know that he has his own wine brand?
Exactly. That's really was probably the seeds for the idea. Very cool. Because we're showcasing his wine. The VIP stuff that's already sold out is like a meeting and a tasting with him.
Yeah.
And then there's this also this wine experience that people can buy, and so then there's a variety of different wineries that are involved, and so then you get to have a little bit of that kind of feeling within the Redwood Grove before the show, and I think that they're doing a little meet and greet and all that kind of stuff that they like to throw into.
Nice. And now that's like a really cool idea would you guys think of doing that with other bands, that maybe an artist that doesn't have their own wine?
I mean, since we're in wine country, I think it's figuring out which bands are willing to get creative in that way with you.
Definitely.
Because most bands want to just do a show, and I mean, a meet and greet is a big ask oftentimes, and often only pulled forth when the band gets all the money, or or you're not selling tickets and you want to throw it in at the end. But yeah, I mean, we had a lot some success in previous years with like a beer festival partnered with funk music, because we had Dean from Hot Monk that we were working with to kind of help brand that and move it forward. So I think that there's drinking and music often goes together, so it's just kind of finding which common threads to piece together to make a proper story. And this story is different and interesting, and we'll see whether it can properly hit home enough so that there's the crossover of these fans and those connoisseurs.
That's awesome. And then you guys have some great shows coming up after that. So on Friday the 13th, which is like one of my favorite days. Toots and the Maytals. Maytals.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Mike Love.
Right.
Like.
Yeah, a bunch of reggae, really great reggae show. Since we're working with Ineffable, they're the same guys that do the Cali Roots Music Festival in Monterey.
Okay.
And so then they've curated this kind of what they call the Rebel Music Series. That's a variety of different, like Toots and the Maytals is, they're the guys that invented the phrase reggae. And so then, then there's a couple other shows we'll have that are along that, that same vein of Steel Pulse and Tribal Seeds. And
nice.
And I think and then there's the J-Boog and Collie Buds, which is a little bit different. It's a little bit more Pacific Islander and and hip hop oriented, but a similar kind of aesthetic and feeling behind it.
Do you find that those shows bring out the larger crowds? Yeah, for sure.
When we did the first two shows that we did with Ineffable last year, both sold out and got to the 3,000.
That's amazing.
So that was Soja and Dirty Heads and The Green, I believe, and then Pepper and Tribal Seeds. Yeah. And I think maybe one else.
Very cool.
Seems
to be very much Sonoma County.
For sure. Well, and it's, a music that is there has an audience of people that go out and see it, you know, and that they want to see it live, and they want to be around each other, and you know, in the audience, and you know, and participating with the culture that's there and around it. And you know, and these days, as things go more and more digital, then there's a certain you know, genre or there's a majority of genres where people want to see it very quietly, you know, or they want to see it on, like, you know, digitally and not live. And you know, and then there's also just, you know, all the background stuff of the business of it, you know, that can make it difficult for certain bands to, you know, to perpetually tour, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And then, so you're also involved with McNairs Mystic Theater.
Yes, just Mystic Theater. McNairs is now doing the restaurant. And then,
so they've separated.
Yeah, and then Ineffable is now booking the theater.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, and so then those are the same guys I'm working with that are booking SOMO Concerts, that are also booking Cornerstone in Berkeley that I'm working with.
Wow.
And they do the Catalyst in Santa Cruz,
yeah.
and the Fremont Theater in San Luis Obispo.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, just the way that it goes these days, it's like, you know, like the part of why we had so much trouble getting enough good shows for SOMO Concerts is that we were just an island, right? And there's all these different huge conglomerates of Live Nation and
the Radius Clause
and Radius Clauses and Outside Lands, all these different festivals that are gonna just snatch up all the, you know, the top tier, and then, you know, you hope for the second tier, and then you're in a county that that has a changing scene and like not very reliable venues, and so then the agents don't, you know, think about Sonoma County as a place to stop and have shows up until more recently with these different things.
And do you get like a lot of support from local radio on your shows?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, you know, there's I worked with a variety of radio stations, but you know, unfortunately, the way that radio's gone is that, you know, there's not a lot of musicians that are alive that are playing on the radio.
That's so true.
You know, and then, you know, and there's not, and unless that band is played on your station, then, you know, there's not a reason to go an extra mile with them. But, you know, but at the same time, there have been, when it fits, then the radio does super great, and like, you know, we sell our shows really well, and you know, and there can be the right audiences for that, you know, like
you're clearly involved with Sonoma County. You seem to have a passion for where we live, and then also music. So what would be like your ultimate like goal, your ultimate dream for what we have here?
I mean, I think that, you know, I don't know if it's my ultimate goal, but I always have trouble with ultimate goals because I get so stuck into what's my next step, you know, because I have a mind for it, and that's part of what makes me good at my job, is that we look at, like, you know, I don't just think of like, well, I just want people there and I'm going to whine about it, you know. You know, I need to figure out all the different steps of how do I get all those, you know, multiple impressions and figure out all those different steps in order to get to that goal, right? You know, so an ultimate goal would be something of like just having a reliable music scene that you know, that lets the talent that we have here, you know, be noticeable to more than you know, than where we're at right now. Because I think that I perpetually hear in other places like, oh, well, like we've had these different Sonoma County musicians come through, and like there's something really to that, and there's a beautiful, like, you know, feeling that can come with them, or like some very talented folks that, I mean, maybe it's just because we're the type of place where people retreat to more than, you know, more than like showcase from, but I think that's shifting a little bit potentially. I mean, I just want to see a venue in Santa Rosa, you know, that is probably around like that 500 person level, run by somebody who has any experience.
It's hard to find that around here, I know.
Yeah. I mean, because, you know, you can run a restaurant, you can run a bar, but you can run whatever, but you can't really just take those same skills and then apply it to all the different relationship building and maintaining that is integral within music industry.
I had a lot of hope for the Last Day Saloon.
Yeah, totally.
That somebody would buy that and, you know, turn it into something. Because it's such a great location. It's a great venue. There's so many
and it was for a long time,
Yeah, it was. Yeah, Dave did a great job running that venue. And, I know. And now it's a joke.
Yeah,
kind of.
right,
I mean, really.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's been
karaoke.
tragic for a while, but it just got sold and is going to be a different one.
Oh, it
now.
did.
Yeah.
Ooh, breaking news.
Did we just break news?
Yeah, it'll be. I forget what the name was. It was. I think it's gonna be a Spanish club.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it'll be a Spanish club, but it won't be like a music venue. Just
I'm sure it will be, but
Okay.
just with less associated for English speakers.
okay. That's kind of cool though.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. I mean, who knows what it'll be?
Yeah. Only time will tell.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just glad that it's not turning into apartments because I
Yeah,
remember
that
like I
was
was
a
looking
threat
at that
for a long time.
It was. So any kind of music in there, I'm cool with. And so your mentors are pretty awesome guys.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
And so can you tell us a little bit about who they are and their background?
Yeah, Morty Wiggins and Steve Sank. Morty is actually used to book shows up here at the River Theater with the Grateful Dead, and booked Tom Waits at the Sebastopol Center for the Arts and stuff, and got in with Bill Graham, and started just taking out the trash, and got to the point where he was his right hand man, and brought the Neville brothers up from a New Orleans band to an international act, and Sheryl Crow and Johnny Lang and a lot of Joe Satriani. He's still working with Joe Satriani. He's got 4 Grammys that he just doesn't put on the wall because he doesn't really care.
Yeah.
15 platinum albums, 25 different gold records,
Amazing.
But he's just what really attracted me to him is that he's not only highly accomplished in all these different ways and knowledgeable about all these things that I normally would have nobody to learn from in the area, or be very difficult to find somebody to learn from. But he's also he's a great father and a great person,
Yeah.
He's kind and humble. He still takes out the trash,
Yeah.
Despite being more successful than I could ever potentially dream of,
It's a different time too, though.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, he helped start the Fillmore,
Yeah.
and helps do also helped with some of the first live music video stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
That's
with
awesome.
the Live at the Fillmore series and different stuff like that. He did Tower Records and A&M Records for a while too.
Yeah.
And then Steve Sank was a merchandise guy, and he worked very closely with the Beatles and Kiss and Barbra Streisand and Sony in Europe for a long time, and then and Bill Graham and Live Nation for a bit too.
Yeah. Very cool.
So,
And how did you get hooked up with those two guys?
well, so I was doing the Luther Burbank Center after getting back from North Carolina. I had been doing a venue out here completely illegally in a barn on a commune.
Awesome. Gotta do what you gotta do sometimes.
Yeah,
Right?
for about, when there's a lack of venues and you're young enough to try, then...
Yeah. Take a risk.
Yeah. So we had about 2.5 years of the Boogie Room in Gardens. There's a lot of punk shows and everything else, a lot of freak folk and different other, interesting experimental music and electronic music and some plays and workshops and 2 festivals. That's crazy. But yeah, so I went out to North Carolina and got my degree in sustainable business. And from Warren Wilson College, that's a small little school that everybody lives at, and then you have to work there, and as well as volunteer within the community. So I worked on the trash recycling, compost, free store crew first, and then the auto working and metal working crew the second year, and then volunteered in Alabama building houses during my spring break and my fall break and my summer vacation. So I got back and then was working at the Luther Burbank Center and started, and I volunteered at the Railroad Square Music Festival and was helping Josh with some different stuff that he was doing. And Josh wasn't as interested in, the kind of being in the office all the time. And, he's got so many of his own projects that he just he's got his thing that he's doing. And so then introduced me, and then I was doing Luther Burbank Center and SOMO Concerts in the second year when we had Ziggy Marley and Steel Pulse and Michael Franti and Sharon. No, that wasn't Sharon Jones. That was the year before.
I think Sharon Jones was the second year.
Was she? Okay.
Yeah.
there's been a lot of shows.
There has been a lot of shows. Yeah. That was a good show.
Yeah.
For sure.
That was absolutely great. Yeah, I did get to go to that one.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just kind of like it slowly progressed of, kind of feeling each other out. And I think that, we both have kind of some deep hippie spirituality behind our general sense of self. So there's, so that kind of connected. We're actually both really into this. Morty really likes the teachings of Gurdjieff and a particular book called In Search of the Miraculous by P.D. Ouspensky.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, it's I was like prescribed it by a spiritual hippie doctor of my mother's when I was young, and I read it a couple times and didn't get much of any of it, but I felt very affected nonetheless.
Now that you're an adult.
Yeah, I understand a little bit more of it. Yeah. So it's just that it's it's who I knew.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then also being able to be prepared enough to comfortably go into it and figure it out and have some parts figured out and be able to confidently ask about what I didn't know and be humble enough to try to keep learning through it perpetually, which I am still doing all the time.
Well, I think that's a good thing to note because I think a lot of people are afraid to like dig into something that they're really interested in because they don't know, and they're afraid to ask questions. They're afraid to look like an idiot or look dumb or something. So what would you give, like if somebody was interested in getting into the music industry, whether they're local here in Sonoma County, what would be like your...
I mean, it's funny. I actually got to talk to a high school class at Maria Carrillo about a similar thing. But the main thing is you can just do it. You just help out wherever the help is needed, and don't try to go in there letting them know what they need, but ask them what they need and do that. And whether it's taking out the trash or being a stagehand or
and don't complain about the dirty work.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, within any of it, you can go so very far, no matter what business, by just showing up on time or slightly early, not being horrible to work with in terms of your personality, and then just doing like an all right job, so you're not doing the same mistake all the time. Like that, it's not like a high level of stuff. It's just like that you just make it easy for somebody.
Exactly.
And it's just like being a band and trying to get invited back to play a club. You'd be easy to work with and be on your stuff and don't make the same mistake a bunch, or or go into it with like an entitled approach when you haven't earned that.
Don't trash the room.
Yeah.
Don't trash the green room, man.
Right. Yeah.
We're looking forward to some of these awesome shows coming up. Where can people get tickets to the shows coming up?
SOMOconcerts.com, SOMO Concerts. We're all over Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and whatnot. And if they're in Sonoma County, then we have them on all the record stores too.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last Record Store and People's Music and Tall Toad and Sally Tomatoes, of course, right next to us as well.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us. We appreciate it. And we'll see you at one of the shows very soon.
Yes, indeed.
And all right. You have anything to add, Mike?
I think we got it. I think we hit it.
All right. Sounds good. Well, we'll be chatting with you guys next time.